Come for me, starting to get a little concerned about the depth at one position for Michigan State football. Stay for our chat about the Michigan State basketball offseason with our guy, Carter Elliott. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side, and it is a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on the classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go right now for free on the App Store or Google Play. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below, do whatever makes you happy. And if that includes reaching out to us at lockedonspartans@gmail.com, go ahead and do that. We'll be getting into a few mailbag questions here in this first segment before having a great chat with our guy Carter Elliott of Spartans Illustrated and Sleepers Media. We talk all things Michigan State basketball offseason, but right now it's about football and it is about the transfer portal. Now I do have to timestamp this because things change every hour, so I want everyone on the same page here. It is the middle of the afternoon on Thursday, April 25th, so that means between last episode and right now, Michigan State has one transfer portal entry. It's Malcom Jones, incoming third-year player for the Michigan State Spartans, just played in 8 games last year, which is a good amount of games, but just 9 defensive snaps, most of his work coming on special teams. So there we go. That's another player in the portal, and another one that probably wasn't going to crack the 2 deep at his position, maybe wasn't going to be a backup. But guys, it's not that I'm freaking out about Malcom Jones leaving. It's the fact that, hey, now hold on. We started this spring with concerns about depth at the cornerback position before the portal even opened. And, okay, Malcom Jones, he's gone. Okay, well, so did Samar Melvin. He left too. And then, well, oh, golly gee, would you look at that? Marquis Lowry is also gone. So, look, let's not get it twisted. I don't mean to be disrespectful here, but none of those 3 guys were going to be a Darqueze Dennard or a Trey Waynes or a Sauce Gardner if you want to go to a different school. You get my point, guys. None of them were going to potentially even be a starter this year, maybe not even on the 2 deep. I'm sure Marquis Lowry would have been, but nevertheless, those 3 guys are gone. And now I'm starting to get a little concerned about the cornerback depth because, like I said, I'll say it again. MSU and the coaching staff went into this offseason, this spring cycle, knowing they had to add cornerbacks. Right now, let's take a look at the depth chart. Your starters, Chuck Brantley, Chance Rucker. Okay, guys, I don't know about you, but when I see Chuck Brantley play, I see him trying a lot of hits that will get him hurt, and sometimes they actually do get him hurt. His injury status is up and down throughout the year. So behind them at the cornerback position, oh boy, it's not a lot of experience here. It's Ade Wiley, it's Kari Crump, it's Andrew Brinson, Caleb Coley, Jalen Thompson. And guys, you might not even know some of those names. That's how little they have played for Michigan State. We're kind of running out of names after that. We get to Walk-on-Ville, and I know that, again, the names that have left, Malcom Jones, Samar Melvin, Marquis Lowry, maybe they're not the immediate backups, but at least those are 4 functioning limbs, guys on scholarship that can play the cornerback position because as Spartan fans have unfortunately known the last few years, you can rifle through some players at a certain position to the point where you just get whittled down to playing walk-ons. So again, Michigan State, they're going to keep attacking it. In the transfer portal, they're going to try to supplement these losses with guys that are better than the guys that have left. But God forbid if they start striking out on some cornerback targets, that is a rail-thin position, and that is one that I am concerned about. I'll just tell you how it is. Again, I don't mean to make this a panic episode just because Malcom Jones has left, but it's when you see 3 guys in the same position that has depth issues already leave, I start to tug on the collar a little bit and think, oh boy, we ought to get this cleaned up here. So we're going to go to some mailbag questions, and a lot of this have to do with the last few days of our conversation as it pertains to the transfer portal. Of course, Simeon, Barrow, Derrick, Harmon leaving. Why is college sports the way it is right now? So we're just going to kind of close the chapter on this unless something else happens. And just a quick update here, I'll leave you with this. Derrick Harmon, he's visiting USC right now. He has plans to visit Colorado. And then both Simeon Barrow and Derrick Harmon are reported to be visiting Miami soon, which I got to say it like that. That would be a cool story if they both ended at Miami, not just because they'd remain teammates, but also they could very well be playing Michigan State, their old school again, in the Tax Slayer Bowl. Once Michigan State hopefully becomes bowl eligible, and then Miami has the season that they will inevitably have. So that'd be a cool storyline to see the Hurricanes and the Spartans pair up to play in Jacksonville and a bowl game that's around Christmas time. So best of luck to them. Anyway, let's go to Zach. He will bat first for the listener questions here. Couldn't agree more with what you said on Tuesday with Stephen Brooks. Derrick Harmon entering the transfer portal was the final straw. So considering that, would you rather have Michigan State players never enter the transfer portal again, or Michigan State could grab as many players from the portal as they wanted, but would also be at risk of losing a ton of players in the portal too? In the second scenario, Michigan State has an unlimited amount of money to spend in the portal. So I'm going to lop off the last part of that. I'm sorry, Zach, I'm taking editorial freedom, because if they had unlimited money, then you probably don't have to worry about losing players in the portal. So for sake of conversation, would I rather live in a world with no transfer portal or live in basically, well, today's world? I would still have the portal. And I know that might go against everything that I've just been crying and moaning about here the last few days. But look, the portal does work two ways here, because unfortunately, you do need some guys to leave in some cases. We saw it early on in the Mel Tucker era. Like, this is one of the things that Mel did good here, is that he had to purge this roster of guys that were not up to snuff of playing Power 5 football, right? Like the late year D'Antonio recruiting did some damage here, and you had to push some guys out the door. It's kind of what we're seeing at some positions here with Jonathan Smith. When a new coach takes over, he sees guys that don't fit his system or that won't go high in the depth chart. You need to push guys out to hopefully bring some players in that can make you competitive. And also, too, let's not forget, Michigan State has done good things in the transfer portal, like the quarterback that we're all going to be oogling over this fall in Aiden Childs. Okay, his top pass-catching target in Jack Velling. Also, Tanner Miller on the interior line. Like, Michigan State has done well in the portal. Also, in years past, because we haven't forgot Kenneth Walker at all. So no, like, Michigan State has done some good things in the transfer portal. It hasn't all just been losing your Peyton Thorns or your Keon Coleman's or your Derrick Harmons. Like, it does go both ways. I know it's hard to see that right now, especially at the end of this week. But look, let's try to imagine that 2021 season without the portal, without Kenneth Walker. I mean, I know the last few years as a whole haven't been great here in East Lansing, but at least we have a Peach Bowl victory and a double-digit win season to look back on, because we were able to add Kenneth Walker. And even, too, before that, now this is before the portal was really popping and what it is today, but you got Jaden Reed out of the portal, too. So, no, I would keep the portal open. My issue with the portal here is that it's just a revolving door 24/7 around the clock. It is constant free agency. Great. You kept Harmon. You kept Barrow after their first dip in the portal. Whew. Well, thank God we have them for the fall. Oh, wait a minute. Free agency starts a few months later. Let's do this all over again. And we all know that story here. So Christopher writes in our second question. I loved your comments on how to fix the transfer portal. And really quick, the way I was going to fix the transfer portal is obviously contracts. I would only have one transfer window. And, oh God, what was the last thing that I had? This is really going to screw up my conversation here. But nevertheless, those were the two main points here, guys. Sorry. So Christopher writes in, a school could have a collective as big as they want, but there would be a cap on how much money they could spend on each sports year if you had a salary cap. He is arguing for a salary cap on top of all this. Combine that with your idea for contracts and free transfer limits, I think the system becomes responsible and integrous. The third thing that I wrote, was you get to transfer for free once, like immediate playing time just one time. You transfer ever again, you have to sit out a full year. But Christopher is adding, hey, let's make a salary cap. This will make things more even across the playing field. And God, I'm going to squash it. I'm sorry, because the salary cap works in theory, right? But NIL has opened a can of worms. They've opened that toothpaste tube that you just can't put everything back into. Like, NIL has made things the Wild West for the long term, if not forever. For example, let's say that they do become employees of the school. and that there's a uniform salary cap of $10 million that you could spend, right? Okay, here's the issue, though, is those NIL collectives out there, they can still get their hands in on this because NIL from the beginning, name, image, likeness, is to profit off of your image and your name so you can sponsor or endorse, other brands, for example. You can make money by hawking cars at a dealership or showing up on commercials. That was the spirit of NIL. But now you don't even have to sponsor anything. Now NIL groups from the outside, again, that's the important part. They are not tied in with the schools. They are from the outside. They will always be around. So let's say, for example, $10 million salary cap. This quarterback, hey, we'll sign him for $500,000. But here comes the NIL collectives on the side, supplementing him with $2 million more dollars. That's what would happen. For example, it would be like if Jared Goff signs this extension with the Lions, we'll call it 4 years at $5 million. Right? A complete scam of a deal. But the Ford family, they're going to make him a brand ambassador of their dealer or their automotive company for the tune of $175 million. No, the NFL would be ringing alarm bells left and right. But since the NCAA, they don't have those. NIL is completely a gone show right now. I don't think a true salary cap will ever work here in college sports. I mean, guys, also too, not long ago, before NIL was a thing, guys were still getting paid on the side here too at some schools. I don't know how rampant it was, but schools will always find a way to sweeten the deal for their players. So yes, in theory, a salary cap would just be amazing for college sports, but we're just so far beyond anything actually working that is written on paper here. So guys, we got basketball coming up next with one of my favorite people to talk to, Carter Elliott. But first, I need to talk your ears off about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. We're talking superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And better yet, with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every single time or it's your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home the huge win. So what are you waiting for out there? Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. You know who this guy is, one of my favorite people of all time to talk to, one of your favorite people to listen to, Carter Elliott of Spartans Illustrated, of Sleepers Media. Carter, I said right before I smashed that record button, hey, this is going to be a lot more of a fun conversation right now than it would have been last week. That said, Carter, how we doing, man? Are we doing okay? Has Michigan State done enough in the portal to make you happy for a second?
You know what? Beggars can't be choosers. Whatever great pastime phrase you want to whip out. I'm not a dad yet, so Sheehan, if you want to throw out some dad euphemisms that I should be happy with what I got, be thankful. You can throw those out at any time. That's how I'm feeling right now. Okay, there are some teams out there who have not added a transfer. We are not one of those teams, and we have to be happy with that. So I'm happy.
And we also added one transfer because we're in a spot where we don't have to add 7 transfers or 8 transfers. It ain't so bad around these parts, Carter. I know that I've been very mopey at times during this offseason. I know that you have been thrilled at times, but you know what? Grass isn't always greener on the other side, if I could plug that one in there. All things considered, life isn't too bad in East Lansing. So can we start there, actually, Carter? Because a few days ago, this is before Frankie Fidler made it official he committed to Michigan State. I went on Twitter and I asked the fine folks out there, how do you feel about Michigan State basketball's portal season so far? Said great, said pretty okay. I said and then I said horrible. And horrible were the overwhelming runaway favorites. 84% of the combined pollsters said they weren't feeling too good. But now that Frankie Fidler's in the mix, Carter, where are you amongst the 4 options there?
So what were the other 2 options besides and horrible?
I knew I threw a lot there. So it was great was the best one. And then pretty okay was the second one. Yeah.
Okay. I think I go pretty okay. I'm not at the and horrible stage. And look, I am sometimes negative to a fault. I'm sometimes down on Michigan State to a fault. I accept that. I understand that's who I am as a Michigan State fan and how I kind of take in Michigan State athletics. I know my role. I play my role the way it needs to be played, right? And coming into the offseason, we're doing once again the same dance we've been doing the past couple off seasons. All right, here we go. We're going to get a center. It's time. The first domino kind of fell. Mady Sissoko and all the great person that he was moved on to his next stop. All right. Yeah. There's a lot of open minutes at the center. Hopefully we'll upgrade at that position. And it just seemed that the outlook of kind of where the staff was going was like, no, they want to focus on the wing first. And it was like, okay, we do need a wing. That is true, because the thing is, and I'll probably get more deep into it. I want to just jump right in.
Go for it.
The fact that we got Fidler, before you even get to what Fidler adds as a basketball player, first of all, it moves Jaden Akins to the 2.
Yeah.
We get Jaden Akins at the 2, finally. Yeah. Let's see what it looks like. I've always had dreams of what he looked like at the 2. Yeah. And you know what? If it's a disaster, it's okay. I can accept that. I just want to actually see it. So that it gives Jaden Akins the flexibility to go to the 2, while at the same time, we need a guy who at the end of the shot clock can be a guy who just goes and gets a shot.
Yep.
And the one thing I saw with Frankie Fidler on the film is, one, he can find his shot, whether it's tough or easy, he's going to get one off. And he did it to the tune of 20 points on pretty good percentages, even given, the level of competition he was playing at Omaha. He was still taking some very tough and making very tough shots. And last year's team, Tyson Walker was that guy to do so. So we are going to need a guy like that who can make, some ISO, maybe end the shot clock thing. You can send him off pin downs. There's a lot of things that you can do, I think, to accentuate his strengths. And to steal some of your thunder, a great point you made, we need somebody to get to the free throw line.
Please.
Fidler gets to the free throw line amongst the best of them, and he makes them. He makes them too. Just want to make that very clear. So that, I was a little bit down on this ad coming in just because I was being down in the dumps. That is what it is. But I really like this ad and how he fits into the team. And I think that there was a need for a wing player, and we went on and got a wing player. So you got to be happy about that.
I think we were 2 peas in the pod right there, because I wasn't the happiest camper when we were talking MSU basketball this offseason so far. And then I actually opened up my eyes and I did start to look around and did realize, look, you did keep Xavier Booker. You did keep Jaden Akins. I'm sure those two combined had thousands of phone calls from other programs that are trying to get them in the transfer portal. So the fact that you only had one spot was kind of a blessing in a way. You did keep some core pieces there. And yeah, adding Fidler does some great things. Just like you said, it moves Akins to the 2 full-time. Like, you're feeling a lot better about the roster makeup of this team. And it's not just us, not just the State fans saying that. The computers over at barttorvik.com. That's right. Everyone take a drink. Whenever we mention Bart Torvik, you got to finish it. MSU's roster moved up from 19th in the country to 16th in the country, according to the computers with Frankie Fidler. Only Purdue and UCLA are ahead of you in the Big Ten right now. Carter, I ask you, let's say that no other player was added. We don't get our wish. There's no other center. Is, as the roster stands right now, good enough to compete for a Big Ten title, you think? Or is that a bridge too far? Am I overstepping there?
I think we still are one more ad away from me feeling like, okay, let's go into the season and let's compete, because, Purdue loses Zach Edey. Thank the heavens above that man is moving on and is going to stop torturing us and the Big Ten and the country in general. But they still got a lot of talent coming back. Braden Smith, obviously, on the team. TKR is probably going to take a big role in the post. I really like what Indiana has done this offseason in the portal. I really like the ads they got. I like what Maryland did in the portal. Yeah. I got to see what Kevin Willard does with them, but I like I like the ads that they had. And then, over Rutgers, Pikel's bringing in 2 5-star guys who are amazing, by the way. So, it's going to be an interesting dynamic, but I really think that if we add one more piece, preferably something in the front court, to maybe cover up for some of Xavier Booker's deficiency. So if I'm thinking like a defensive center who can catch the ball and dunk it and protect the rim at a medium to high level, if I'm getting greedy, I'd be a happy camper. I think that 5 fits together. I think that there's room for pieces off the bench with the young freshmen and also the other underclassmen that are going to be upperclassmen taking a step. Guys like Trey Harmon improved last season. Give other guys a chance to improve in the offseason. there is something there. There's a good core that I think we can work with. And I would feel good about competing in the Big Ten if we can add one more piece.
Plenty more to come with our guy Carter Elliott, but first, Monopoly Go, the best gaming app out there. We've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime and the scoreboard ain't looking too good, guys. You're feeling low, not sure if you or the team can pull out that win, and that's when you just got to dig deep, lift up your head, and say to yourself, well, it's time to get back in the game, pull off some bank heists, and take as much money from my friends as I possibly can. God, we've all been there, right? That's right. It's a smash hit mobile game, Monopoly Go. Lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's a Monopoly game you love, but on your phone, anytime, with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. And there's so much to do, like playing the countless dynamic Monopoly boards. You can make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball, and charge other players rent for your iconic properties. Or if you want to mix it up, actually be friendly, work alongside people, you can work with your friends to crack open community chests in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb that leaderboard. So what are you waiting for out there? Put on your game face, download Monopoly Go right now for free on the App Store or Google Play. I don't even know if we do got to be greedy about the center, though, because the thing I keep hearing about centers is, well, there's not like the ideal fit. Look, point blank. We don't need Mr. Perfect walking through those doors, man. No disrespect. Look, that's not to say that Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler are complete trash and they should just leave the program for good. Like, they do bring some things. Jackson Kohler, good offense if he could, like, finish at the rim. Carson Cooper does have flashes on defense, but, man, just to have a third guy in there, someone that's seasoned, I'm not even asking a lot. I'm not even asking for, like, double-digit scoring, man. I just need a competent center. Is that too casual of a take, or
no? I don't
know.
The thing is, this is the thing for me too. It's like everyone is like, oh well, I don't want to upset anybody in the front court. And I understand that. I mean, navigating the portal, navigating team construction, I get that. But the thing is, this will make life easier for Jackson Kohler and Carson Cooper. We can stop expecting them to be something they're not and just love them for what they are. If we have another center, I think, that can take some of the load and take some of the things off their plate, so there isn't so much expected out of those guys. And look, I expect both those guys to take steps. I'm not saying it's going to be a leap. I'm not saying it's going to be a large step. It could be a minuscule, just inching of the foot forward. They're going to take some type of step. But I think that they would benefit from it. The team would benefit from it if we had someone at the center position that is, like you said, we're not even asking for anything crazy. And I understand that the state of college basketball, though, it makes it just so hard. I'm seeing some of the numbers that are being thrown out of some of these kids. Like, I used to get hyped as hell back in the day when my mom Venmoed me $25. Yes. I'm about to make this stretch the rest of the month. Yes. Now these kids are making triple my salary after I'm 10 years into the workforce. And they're averaging like 7 points a game. It's insane. But like, I understand there's a small pool and guys are getting paid, and there's agents involved now, and these centers are just flying off the board. But there's got to be some center out there that will be enticed to put on green and white, play in the Breslin, play for a coach like Tom Izzo, and also, like, we got all types of minutes for you at the center position if you want to just come.
Sure.
It's there for the taking.
It is. You said it brilliantly, though. Like, this would help the other two centers. And I understand their minutes would go down, but what would you rather have? Would you rather have 11 minutes on the court where you're having fun, the fans aren't groaning every time you catch the ball, you're actually in a good spot in your 11 minutes, or would you rather play like 19 minutes, but my God, you are just getting put in Alcatraz every single time in the defensive end or the offensive end, depending on what center you're talking about. Everyone just skips and prances into the locker room as one big happy family after every game, right, Carter? I mean, that's what a center can do. Help us help you, guys. Come on.
We're trying. I truly think it's so funny because I guess, like, obviously all coaches and coaching staffs have their own strategy, like attacking the transfer portal. Our coach actively hates it, but that's okay. But he casts a very small net. He handles like one thing at a time. It's like, it's like he treats the transfer portal like it's the end of the game. It's like hold for one shot. That's what we do. Hold for one recruit. Hold for one, and then we'll figure out the next recruit. Where it's like, we could cast a wider net, send some guys to some different spots, make some different calls. We could, but hey, That's why I'm here with you, and I'm not there. I don't know about that stuff.
Understandable, but man, Izzo has never related to like a fan base more than this week, and I'm crossing sports right now because we all know what's happened with football and the transfer portal. But man, as the Harmon news comes out, like I just felt my body physically morph into a 69-year-old Italian man that's just enjoying his house over at Hazlitt or wherever he lives over at like Lansing or whatever. But like you know what, Tom? I get everything you're saying on the interviews. I hate the portal too, man. But with that said, thanks for getting Fidler. Right? Yeah. Hey, good work. With this offseason, though, Carter, I got to ask, what has been your favorite part of the offseason? Obviously, the going away first place is probably Frankie Fidler being added, but is there anything else that has stuck out to you? You can go as off the wall as possible because mine is a little off the wall. Mine's pretty online, so to speak, but if you have one, go for it. If you want me to dance first, you could, let me shoot. It's up to you, man.
You know what? The first one that came to mind was Cohen Carr getting a haircut, so I'm going to let you go.
Yo!
First. I'm going to come up with something better.
I fell off my couch when I saw that Cohen Carr cut the dreads off. I was like, what are we doing? Like, that was like when Chris Allen cut his dreadlocks off. Like, he was a different player. Unrecognizable.
I'm assuming breakout season now. That's all that means.
I hope so.
But I'll let you go first. I'm going to think of something else.
When I say that mine's very online, like maybe if you live a healthy life off Twitter, you might have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But for about 16 minutes, when Chucky Hepburn transfers out of Wisconsin, it was rumored that MSU was going to be a major player here. Like Badger fans were getting upset at Tom Izzo, but I just want everyone to step into a world where Tom Izzo not only just hates the portal, but he also kind of hates his senior point guard enough to where he got on Tim Stout's radio show and said, AJ Hoggard could come back to college. It ain't here. Half because he doesn't probably really care to have AJ back, but also he just loves Jeremy Fears that much. He wants to start that chapter. Folks, in what world was Chucky Hepburn going to come here and backlog Jeremy Fears another year like that? That never made sense for 3 seconds over on my end, unless they were going to do the shin breaking surgery where Chucky Hepburn grows 5 inches and that takes care of your wing problem. Or if you really want to break his thigh bone too, crank that up another 5 inches. Well, there's your center, I guess. But that's been my favorite part, was just the few hours of panic online on message boards about, oh my God, is this going to add Chucky Hepburn just so he can assuage Frankie Fidler? Folks, let's use our brains here for a little bit, guys. Come on.
Right. And I love Frankie Fidler. I truly do. I'm glad he's a Spartan.
Yeah.
Also, come on, man. Frankie Fidler's not Bron, all right? We're not, adding Mario Chalmers to the fold just so we get Frankie Fidler. You know what I'm saying? We're not adding Banana Boat members so we can just get the whole crew. That's not happening. That was funny to me, but at the same time, I was in a panic because I told her, there's no way that Tom's going to do this to the team and want to do it to me. I felt personally attacked that I get to turn the chapter to AJ Hoggard and the next chapter is Chucky Hepburn. No, sure. That's not fair. And everyone online telling me that was going to happen just made me I don't want to relive that moment.
I'm sorry. That's on me. Yeah, that's on me.
Yeah. Okay. I think one of my favorites was I think it's everyone freaking out about what Michigan is doing in the transfer portal. And I get it. It sucks to see your rival doing things in the portal. But, also, Dusty May did not have a choice. His returning roster was Fat Brooks, Jace Howard, the son of the coach who just got fired, and another guard who's named after a president who didn't play last season.
Not ideal.
He had 19 spots to fill on this team.
Right, correct.
Of course he's gonna grab. I hope he's aggressive in the portal. He has no players, and I need to look in the mirror on this because I was doing it too. Because it sucks to see, they're having fun in the portal. I want one of those, and we did finally. But I think that was the funnest thing for me is the realization that, or just the uproar about Michigan adding all these players while Michigan State, was kind of just sitting by the wayside, I suppose.
No, that is so well said. There was a lot of hoopla, shenanigans. Again, if you live a healthy life off Twitter, you missed a lot of nonsense, for lack of a better term, out there. Because Dusty May, if he didn't do anything, he would be starting at the 4 for Michigan. Dusty May himself. I know he was a baller back in his day, but probably not today. I don't know. No disrespect.
Dustin had to add a whole team.
Can I ask you one more question?
Of course.
Favorite Big Ten player that will not be playing in the conference next year. No shortage of options, whether they've transferred outside of the conference, whether they've just run out of eligibility, whatever it is. Favorite player that you don't have to see play.
Oh, you know what? Because Michigan State has trouble with a lot of players, I think I got a list of 3 in my head.
Okay.
One is a preventative one, a future. I'm so glad Trey Towns is not at Ohio State.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to take it. And if he was at Ohio State and or Michigan, which he did visit, that would have killed me to see him come in and do stuff to us. I could not have lived with that. Zach Edey, goodbye. Like literally goodbye, sir. Like I appreciate how good you were, but literally you ruined Big Ten basketball. Everyone tried to just get a big to replicate to stop you, and we couldn't. And it's time we're free from the shackles of Zach Edey. Hallelujah. Last but not least, the Spartan killer for the last decade, Boo Buie is gone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Boo. Yes. You can go now. Leave us alone, please.
The last 2 you named were going to be my first 2. AJ Storr, obviously going to Kansas, where for the longest time seemed like he was going to be in the line. Like that seemed inevitable, but thank goodness Trey Townsend is a great callback because Lord knows he would have averaged like 12 points for Ohio State the whole entire year, and then he just comes into Breslin and tunes us up for 24 and 13. That seemed clear as day, honestly. But the Edey thing is my favorite. The gimmicks are over. All right, we could go back to ethical basketball, the way our Lord and Savior intended basketball to be played. No genetic anomaly, just getting every single foul call possible, and then getting away with every foul call on the other end. And sure, you might just paint me as a crying, salty Sparty, but my God, anyone with at least one functioning eyeball can see that was just Carter. I didn't have fun.
Yeah,
I ceased to have fun.
I'm like literally, I'm of the camp where I'm just like I understand that the dude's a monster and a genetic freak, and it's not fair. You can't be that tall and not get tired. You can't be that tall and make free throws. It's just not fair, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't have to deal with it anymore. Good luck. Enjoy him, Adam Silver. He's yours.
The height was one thing. The fact he was actually good was another thing. I don't need the same guy having 3 blessings here. I don't know why there's balloons going up my screen right now. What on earth was that?
Is it your birthday?
Not that I'm aware of. Let me check the date. No, I still got 10 more days, or give or take. But people listening to the podcast probably have no idea what's going on. Even people watching on YouTube probably think that we're both having strokes right now. Unless they saw the balloons too. I don't know, man. What a bizarre way to end this conversation. I would not want to have it any other way, Carter. Anything you want to plug here before we really let you go and enjoy the rest of your weekend here?
Nothing much. Just if you're looking for transfer portal stuff, I do got a lot of breakdowns over on our YouTube channel, Sleepers Media. Like we, dive into where guys are committing, breakdowns of guys and things like that. Just trying to keep up with the fact that there's 50 players that enter a day.
Yeah.
Literally the other day, I made a video in the morning that Elijah Hawkins, the Minnesota point guard, was coming back because they announced he's coming back. And not 17 hours later, after I post the video, he's transferring. I mean,
it's brutal.
God, I'm with Izzo. Tampering in the portal is stupid.
It sucks. We relate with the 70-year-old man over there in Lansing a lot more than we thought. It's not just our love for Michigan State; it's our hatred.
He's a visionary.
For player empowerment, I guess is what we'll still call it. I guess I don't know, but folks, it's Carter Elliott. You already know him. Hopefully, we'll drag him back on here in the future. But until then, hey, folks, enjoy the weekend. Love you all. Go Green.